Hey guys, welcome back. It's Alfred here. So I'm doing a video based on what everyone's saying about how did I acquire my latest purchase. So I kind of wanted to do a video just explaining from start to finish of how I went about acquiring the property. So I'm going to start with, obviously, the first thing was the way I found the property was through an agent. This is an agent I previously bought property from before. So I was already kind of, in terms of being able to put an offer and get the property secured, I had a good chance because I had a good relationship with the agent. So he brought this forward to me. Funny enough, I actually viewed it and I wasn't really interested at the beginning, and it was still in the market after a while. So I kind of went back to him and said, well, look, what's going on with this? I'm now interested, what can we do? In terms of the price, so I think it was, I don't know, I can't remember what it was on the market for, but the vendor wanted 270 for the property. I was willing to pay 265. He was like, no, I want 270. I'm pretty sure it's even higher numbers than that even to start with, but he kind of came down to what I wanted in the end. So what we agreed in the end was I would pay 265 for the property. I would give him a completion date, which at the time I'd said 16th of Feb is when I'd have the property completed by, and it was subject to planning. So the planning meant I had to go through planning to get the property from what it currently is, which is a 4-bedroom house, into a 7-bedroom HMO. So that was their kind of agreement, high level, 265 purchase price, subject to planning, and I'd also put a 5k deposit down to kind of show that I'm serious, with a completion date by the 16th of Feb. And I'll tell you what happened towards the end of that. So we agreed that I went through the planning, got my architect in, did the drawings for the proposal of 7-bedroom HMO, submitted that to Coventry Council. To be fair, the planning process was quite smooth in the sense we'd submitted it, there wasn't any queries coming back. There was one right at the end whereby they were looking at rejecting the plan application because there's a miscommunication between two planners. So the person who was finally going to approve it was doing it on behalf of a colleague, and there was an issue around the parking survey, and I think they'd missed out some documents, and therefore they were looking at rejecting the whole application just because they felt like there wasn't sufficient parking survey requirements being submitted. And I kind of had to step in to explain, look, we've submitted, I think, above and beyond what they'd even requested for. And they finally went back and found the old documentation plus the new documentation which I'd submitted as well. And then they finally said, okay, fine, makes sense, apologies, I will go ahead and approve the application. So this plan actually for this house was actually approved, I think, a week early. So normally it's about 8 weeks with the Coventry Council to get it approved. This was approved, I think, in 7 weeks. So we got it approved just before Christmas, if I remember correctly. And then I had from Christmas till pretty much February to kind of get it all bottomed out and exchange and complete. And you'd think that's enough time to be able to do that, and to be honest, it is. Also with me, I was trying to raise finance. So anybody that knows me, the way I'm acquiring these properties is I'm using investor finance along with a bridging lender. So the bridge lender would lend majority of the funds towards the purchase of the property and the total refurb amount as well. And I would find investors who would bring the funds on board to be able to complete in the purchase and bring in the equity part of the deal, basically, which they would fund. So with the investor side of things, it was like a roller coaster. I had so in total for this deal, I had to raise about 120k as part of the equity. So there's about 92k that was going towards paying the stamp duty, the fees, and then deposit towards the house. And there was about 30k which I had to kind of have as well as proof of funds in terms of being able to start the works to the lender, because the lender is going to pay for the refurb, but they need you to start the works and they would pay you back in arrears. So the total figure I had to raise in the end was 120. Literally, I had investors on board. I think this is maybe so I struggled to raise money at the beginning. It took me a while. I think we were in January, still trying to raise the funds. And it was getting close and close to kind of the 16th of Feb. And I think, I'm struggling to remember dates now, but there was a point in time whereby I had 2 investors who were potentially going to lend me combined 100k together. And I was going to make up the majority of the funds. And for some reason, last minute, they just felt it wasn't the right time for them, so that they stepped out. So I think I had about 2 weeks from the original completion date, which is the 16th of Feb, to try and raise this 120 grand, which I had no sight of. I was just putting messages out there, contacting friends, my work colleagues, previous work colleagues, just seeing who can help out on this deal. And found this guy who was initially talking about 50k investment, and then said, you know what, you could maybe do the 100k. So to be honest, I was kind of banking on this guy, and this guy out of nowhere last minute as well. Maybe, I think we had a meeting on a Monday. He had a few more questions, just satisfied his requirement, asked, has he got any more reservations? He said no, all good. To kind of just waiting for the feedback to say yes, regards how much he's going to lend. And again, had a last minute come back. Literally, imagine we had the meeting on a Monday, on a Sunday, me thinking, sitting at home thinking, oh, it's all done deal. He's come back and said no, unfortunately, due to his gut feeling, he's not going to proceed with this deal. So then I'm under pressure now. So to complete, because I'd missed the 16th of February date. I've been given a new deadline of the 23rd of February, which was a Wednesday, the following week. So imagine I was meant to finish on a Tuesday. I was given another week, Wednesday, to complete on. So I'm Sunday, sat at home, no funds in the bank account, no money whatsoever. So I'm now like under pressure to kind of get this money in the account if I'm still going to try and complete by the Wednesday. And obviously, in reality, that was always going to be a challenge, because even if I'd got the funds, there's a few things that need to happen between that and Wednesday. So it was proving difficult already. So I needed to have the conversation with the vendor to kind of extend it further again to the Friday, because I think that was more realistic. But obviously he had already sent an email saying, look, Alfred is obviously he's pushing the buttons a bit, because we've given him 5 months to complete on his property and he's missed the 16th, and I could take his 5k away. So let him know 23rd is the final date, and if not, I'm going to look to take that 5k off him. And literally on the Monday, I'd put a post on my Instagram. A friend of mine, I sent messages on my WhatsApp as well to a few friends, and luckily one friend or two friends came through. One let me 50k, and the other one let me 40k, 42k. And then I had another person that kind of mentoring as well, lend me money as well to kind of get the total amount. So pretty much I was across 3 people who kind of put the funds together to get me the money. And even that was a struggle, the whole week. So Monday to the Friday, literally, because the banks, you can only transfer certain amounts. So the guy that had a 50k had issues transferring the whole amount. You can only do 25k per day. So that which meant I could only receive the full amount by Tuesday. And then the guy that had the 40k, he couldn't transfer all the money either. He had to send 30k one day and send the remainder the following day. So to all honesty, I think I had a majority of the funds on the Tuesday, and yet there was still more to come on the Wednesday as well. So even me as well, I had issues transferring funds. So the most I could send from my account was 50k. So I sent 50k to my solicitor on a Tuesday, send an email, say, look, half the funds are there. I'll send the remaining in on Wednesday, once all the funds had come in. So literally I send the funds all by Wednesday, then had to send a very apologetic email. I think if I sent on the Tuesday, I think I sent an apologetic email on the Tuesday night saying, really sorry, but we've got everything in place, insurance is in place, everything's been signed. We've just made a lie. Well, technically it wasn't a lie, but just to buy me a bit more time, say, look, we've missed out a document. The lender wants to sign one more document, which means we can't complete till Friday. And luckily the vendor came back and said, you know what, you sent me enough proof and confidence that you are going to be proceeding with this. Because the strange thing with this as well is, because it's a bridge loan, you can't usually do the whole exchange and then delay completion and complete it on a different date. We have to exchange and complete on the same day. So imagine from the vendor's point of view, he's waited 5 months and hasn't got an exchange, so it means I'm not legally obliged to buy this house. I can walk away if I wanted to. So he's getting a bit nervous, thinking we spent so much time. But luckily, with me showing the insurance being paid for, half the money being sent to the solicitor with the other remaining money sat in the bank account, I sent all of that to him and said, look, please, Friday, I'm definitely going to do this. And he came back and luckily said, everything's okay, fine, it is what it is. Please, Friday, if not Friday, I'm going to take a 5k deposit and I'm going to remarket it, and I won't sell it to you if you miss the Friday date. So luckily, yeah, got all the money sent over to solicitor on Wednesday. Got a few more documents signed as well and sent that off to solicitors, who then sent that to the lenders. And on Friday, luckily, all went through. It was a nervous day as well, because I was expecting the funds to be sent from the lender in the morning, and it took so long, and they sent it on the latest slot, which is 2:30, which meant we had a 4 or 5 o'clock completion time. So that was still like, is it going to happen? Is it not? But yeah, we finally got over the line. And yeah, got a phone call from the solicitor saying you've completed on the property. And yeah, that was pretty much it. But it's been a journey getting this property, and I'm kind of excited to kind of see what it turns into as well. So the proposal for this property is to turn it into a 7-bedroom house, like I said in the previous video. And obviously you've seen the walkthrough of the house, but yeah. All right, guys, so one more thing I'd say as well is obviously with this whole process, as you can see, I had to overcome hurdles with regards to getting the money in the bank account and having to raise money so last minute. This whole process and investing in property in general, there's loads of hurdles. You've got to be resilient and be able to overcome any problems that come up, and kind of have the attitude of whatever it takes. Because I could have, to be honest, said, well, I'm struggling to raise the money, let me give up on this. And for me, my mindset is I'm not going to lose. The only way I can potentially lose this deal is if the vendor says, you know, Alfred, I don't want to sell the property no more. Kind of go away. I don't want to deal with you no more. I'm going to take your money, and that's it. That's the only way I would have lost the deal. I would have gone to the end to raise the money wherever it took, and that's what I kind of had to do to kind of get this over the line. So with this, just trying to put a message out there. Sometimes things don't go your way, but just have the mindset of whatever it takes and keep persevering, and it will work out. So guys, just to kind of summarize my experience with this purchase, I think my biggest lesson from this deal was around investor finance and working with investors. Obviously I had potential investors that were interested in investing in this deal. In one case, I had to kind of go against my own rules. I didn't really check proof of funds, was one thing, because normally I would check the proof of funds before even engaging in a conversation with an investor or potential investor. And also as well, I kind of bent my rules and kind of went against my own rules that I'd kind of set for myself, which I think hindsight, I wish I'd kind of stuck to. Because another thing as well is, if someone's approach is to kind of lend money to you, they need to be able to make a decision within 24 hours, even on the day, to kind of say if they're willing, if this is for them or not. Because if you're asking the right qualifying questions, which is, how much money do you have readily available to invest? This is readily available. So again, this is money you're ready to invest. And if you're satisfied with the requirements regarding how long the loan's going to be for, what kind of returns they want. To be fair, that's pretty much it in terms of, are they willing to invest? Because if they've approached you, you're already in the mindset of, well, you're clearly willing to invest in me. You might want to find a few little bits of details out, which is fine. I could provide that to you. But after the meetings happened, realistically, either on the day or 24 hours, I think that's the most someone needs to kind of think about this to kind of proceed with. And if they can't, then just move on to the next one. Don't rely on them. And also as well, with the trying to raise the money ahead of potentially doing the deal as well, it just makes the pressure a bit less as well. You don't have to be last minute like I was, kind of scrambling around, because I feel like, again, your negotiation power kind of dies. You can't negotiate as well as you could if you kind of got the money ahead of time. Because when you can kind of see the desperation trying to close the deal quickly. So again, it doesn't help. So I think for me, lessons learned: don't bend your rules, stick to your rules, be true to yourself. Try and get the money in your account as soon as possible to relieve any pressures of having to raise it last minute. And then just try and give also a deadline as to when the investors come back to you after you had a conversation, which for me is 24 hours, ideally, to kind of get a response from the investor. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and got a lot of value out of this. I'll try and share more in the up and coming videos. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much the walkthrough in terms of how I got the deal and what the steps and the dance I had to go over and the hurdles I had to come over in terms of getting the finance in the bank to have to complete the purchase. So it hasn't been easy, but we're finally here. We're ready to transform the house. So keep up with the progress of the project. I'm going to showcase the stages of the project, kind of show you how we go from start to finish in terms of the refurb as well. So yeah, guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any further questions, any things you feel like you wanted to know more details about, send that through, just comment below and I'll respond to that at some point. And as well, if you want to kind of keep tabs as well, probably best to connect with me on my Instagram to kind of show the day-to-day of future deals and the current projects, what I do as well. And yeah, guys, see you in the next one. Thanks for watching again. Take care.